And we're live.
Oh, we are.
We should be live. We're theoretically live.
Hello.
Yeah, hey everyone. Welcome to Awesome Hardware.
Totally prepared.
This is Kyle's half of the show.
It is.
We have two halves of the show. We should really have the show explanation down by this point.
They should already know.
Yeah, you guys already know, right?
Newcomers welcome.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for joining us live. For all of you in chat, it's nice to have you back. And again, newcomers welcome as well. My mic isn't on. Like I said, we are totally prepared for the show. This is what you guys get in my half of the show. Complete debauchery.
Usually it's
Nonsense.
the second half of the show that gets sloppier.
Which means we're off to a great start already, Paul. So thank you all for tuning in. We have a great show for you tonight, as we always do. Usually, we always usually have a good show for you guys. But let's start off with some announcements. You guys can buy stuff.
Buy stuff.
Paul and I both have a store. We have our own separate stores. You can buy stuff from either of them. You can buy shirts from mine. Pretty much I'm only selling shirts and hoodies right now. I will be getting a new shirt design in pretty soon, though. Hey, maybe within a week or so. So probably by next week.
Where do people go to get to your store, Kyle?
They can go to awesomesaucenetwork.com/store.
Oh, that's a good website.
It's very appropriate, and the name is very befitting for what it is. You can also buy shirts as well as other merchandise from Paul's store at store.paulshardware.net. Is that correct?
Yes. Store.paulshardware.net.
Not only can you get shirts, but you can get mugs and glasses to drink all of your fine liqueurs out of.
Yes, there's a glassware section where you can get all that good stuff. And you can be just like us, drinking out of Paul's Hardware glasses.
Indeed.
But I wanted to point out, actually, that neither of us are wearing shirts from our stores.
That is true. We're both repping Tech Syndicate at the
So
moment.
if you guys are interested in Tech Syndicate gear, such as the ones we're wearing, I'm going to do a little plug for them, which is epicpants.com.
We're not showing much faith in our own merchandise,
Well,
are we?
here's the thing.
Other than the glasses.
It all comes from the same place.
There you go.
And we should be giving thanks to Logan and his team over there anyway, because they kind of helped us set up our stores. So
Indeed.
The reason we have such high quality shirts is because they got this all arranged, and then they're like, hey, you want to do this too? And then we were like, okay. So they have a ton of different merchandise too, guys. So if you're interested in supporting the cause and all that good stuff, epicpants.com is where you get their stuff.
Indeed.
You can't get this shirt anymore, though, because it's the shirt of the month from last month.
Right.
So I'm wearing it just to taunt people.
You're just evil like that.
People who don't have it.
It's like you're part of this exclusive club that I can't be a part of.
I know.
Makes me sad. But moving back to our stores, if you guys happen to pick up a piece of merchandise from both of our stores, you will actually get to save on some shipping there because we all go through the same guy who handles our merchandise. So you will get some sort of shipping rebate, so you don't have to pay. You don't have to basically double down on shipping, which is nice for you guys.
We'll keep an eye on our stores throughout the duration of the show.
Indeed.
And if you buy something, we will shout Johnson at your face.
As always.
Which is lots of fun.
And who doesn't like that?
We do have one more announcement actually to share because we have a winner for the Epic giveaway.
Winner, winner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Hey.
The winner is listed on my notes. Wait, what was his name again?
So this is the Fractal Design giveaway for those of you who aren't aware.
The winner is TraxxasMan10.
Traxxas Man.
That's his Twitter.
I looked up his Twitter account.
Yeah.
First off, it looks like he just created the Twitter account just to enter the giveaway.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
But it's not like he's a real person. Like
He is.
He's been in touch with.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
And he's 14.
Yeah.
Unless he somehow lied on his Twitter
page. We can't confirm or
page.
verify that, but
I mean,
we assume that But he is a real person.
Considering no one lies on the internet.
We understand he's grateful. So
probably
congratulations, TraxxasMan10.
Yep.
Thanks to everyone who entered that. We had 647,000 total entries, although there are lots of ways to enter, so there's fewer people than that. But it was a fun contest.
Indeed.
And hopefully we can bring you guys that kind of thing in the future too. Do we have anything else to mention here at the beginning of the show?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Pretty slim on announcements for today. But that's okay, because we've got so much more good stuff.
Actually, I know what we haven't done at the beginning of the show.
Never mind.
Poured a beer.
That's right. This is much more important than any
Yes.
announcement. We have this very fine bottle of Delirium Tremens.
Yes.
This is a Belgian triple.
This is a Belgian ale. It's made by Family Brewery, the Huyghe. I'm sorry, I'm not going to try to pronounce that in case we have any folks from Belgium watching.
Family Brewery? Is that really what it's called?
Yes, it says Family Brewery.
Fun for the whole
Now,
family.
I don't know if you guys have ever tried this. This is a very, very high quality beer.
Yeah.
It's really good, and if you have the means and the access, I recommend trying it. I actually looked up what the name is though. Delirium Tremens. Oh, get your glass ready, Kyle.
Oh, it's gonna overflow. Ah! Gee, that really scared me. I'm not gonna lie.
What did you think
I
was
just
gonna
wasn't
happen?
expecting it to pop like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
R.I.P.
I need a drink after that.
Headphone users.
Thankfully,
we're splitting it in two here, so I'm gonna go back.
This is
and forth.
8.5%, so alcohol content.
Not
so
too bad.
It's good to sip it slowly, though.
It's also, I looked up actually what Delirium Tremens is,
What it means.
and I realized it's kind of a dark name for beer because Delirium Tremens is like what you get from alcohol withdrawals. Like if you drink
Really?
if you drink really heavy for like a good month, and then you stop,
Right.
you will get Delirium Tremens, which is like
Wow.
shaking and like you think you see hallucinations and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So-
Which explains the pink elephants on the label.
That explains, the some of the.
It's
the
very kind of
humorous
psychedelic
stuff on the
in a
label
way.
there. I don't have autofocus on, but there's the bottle.
Such a dark meaning for such a light beer.
I know. Well, I guess the idea is that it's so good that you have no option but to drink so much that you get to that point, I suppose. We don't recommend that though. Drink in moderation, everyone.
That's right.
It's
Cheers.
Tuesday, drinking night. All right. Cheers to you. Thanks for
Indeed.
being here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, definitely try to
Oh,
find this.
sweet.
Try to pick it up if you can. If it's at your
Sweet
local
news.
craft brew store,
Sweet
or anywhere you can
merciful.
find it, really.
Savior.
Totally worth it. What?
Good Lord, baby Jesus. Okay.
Lord baby Jesus. What's going on
Where
there?
are we going next?
Saying a prayer for the show, for my half of the show.
Hot and heavy hardware.
We should really start off with a prayer.
I'm trying to keep
each
us
show.
moving here. It's
Okay.
time.
Absolutely.
Actually,
My
we're
first,
doing all right. We started on time today, so we're not behind at all.
That's a first.
Okay.
So welcome to the first segment of this half of the show, which is hot and heavy hardware, where we talk about some hot and heavy hardware.
It's appropriate for today because it's freaking hot outside.
It's hot as balls.
It's well over 100 degrees in Southern California. That's Fahrenheit. Celsius, I think that equates to something around 50.
I'm only
No.
aware of CPU
Yeah.
CPU terms.
CPU Actually, CPU terms means I should know what it is. I think that's around
True.
32 or 33 degrees Celsius.
Right.
I could be wrong.
I mean, we're at idle temps right
We'll
now.
figure that out
It's
at
not
some
too
point.
bad. Could be worse.
All right, so yeah, it's pretty hot.
So the first item I want to talk to you guys about today is the Zotac ZBox Magnus EN970.
That's hardware.
It's a mini PC
Oh,
built for gaming.
mini PC with a GTX 970 inside, I would assume.
Oh, but you would assume wrong, Paul.
Based on that name.
Based on the name, you would think that the GTX 970 was in there.
What variety of GTX 970s in this little mini
But
PC?
no, it's a GTX 960, in
Oh,
fact.
960.
So someone on Zotac's marketing team needs to
They need to update that.
get fired or something.
That's confusing
That's very
at
misleading.
best, or misleading at worst.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it does still look like a pretty cool product.
Okay.
It was shown off at Gamescom last month, so we thought I'd take a closer look at it. I'll just dive right into the specs. It's got a GTX 960, okay,
Okay.
with no explanation as to why they called it the EN970. that was just left out of the article
Maybe
entirely.
it's their 970th Z-Box.
Yes.
Perhaps.
It's got 3 gigs of GDDR5 on that 960, using a 5th gen, so Broadwell Intel CPU. It's a Core i5 5200U, all right, meaning it's a low power consumption. Broadwell, I mean, hey, I'm not going to buy the LGA desktop processor, but if it's going to come built in and not cost me an arm and a leg, probably some decent performance there. Quad core chip.
Okay.
Why not? It's got 2 slots of DDR3L for your RAM. There is a Plus model that does come with one of those slots populated with an 8 gig DIMM.
Okay.
So you could upgrade it to 16 gigs theoretically if you did the Pro model. It's got 2 2.5-inch drive slots, and that does support RAID 1 and 0, which is kind of nice. If you want to pair 2 SSDs or even 2.5-inch mechanical drives together, that is an option.
Chat's wondering where the optical drive is. There's no optical drive.
There is no optical drive in this guy. Generally, that's one of the sacrifices, one of the many sacrifices mini PCs like this typically make, is not having an ODD, something like that. But that's kind of gone the way of the dinosaur in some regards, so that's not too big of a deal. It's also got 1 M.2 slot for an SSD. The Plus model includes a 120 gig SSD built in already. You've also got 2 USB 2, 2 USB 3, 3-in-1 SD card reader at the front, which is I thought was kind of unique for a mini PC like this. I generally don't see too many card readers on the front of them, but you also get four HDMI
HDMI
2.0, to say the least.
All right.
So that's kind of interesting. You get dual Ethernet, 802.11 AC, and Bluetooth 4.0, which is nice to see. The biggest spec that I was kind of curious about this being a mini PC and all was its dimensions. Like, how mini is it? And that was somehow also left out of the article. Based on the author, I forget who the author is of this article, from Hexus.
This is from Hexus.net, and the author is Mark Tyson.
Mark
Tyson.
What? Oh,
Mark
okay.
Tyson, I'm sorry.
Wow, he's really changed careers since the last time.
He's got a diverse portfolio.
Yes, he does. But based on what he could see, like based on how big the USB ports were and like the SD card reader, he's estimating about 200 by 200 millimeters overall.
Okay.
And
so,
obviously significantly less height-wise.
So two things stand out to me here.
Yep.
One is all them HDMI 2.0s. That's pretty impressive. I could imagine this being useful for like digital signage or something like that. Second is how the hell do they have a 3 gigabyte GTX 960? This lists a GTX 960 with specs that say 3 gigabytes
and 192
bit. This makes no sense to me.
The article also failed to point out how that makes sense, which I thought I was getting to that point.
Because the 960
it's supposed to be 128 bit.
It has a 128-bit memory interface
with 2 gigs.
With 2 gigs or 4 gigs. I am confused.
Yeah.
Confusion is me, Zotac.
Confused,
with
I
your
am.
Magnus. But I imagine if it really is a 960 with 3 gigs, then I guess it's slightly better than a 960 with 2 gigs, and you could probably play games with it and stuff.
Wider memory bus. I don't know how that happened, but we do have friends in Zotac. We can maybe nudge them a bit and be like, "Hey, what is this black magic you got?
Like, what the hell is with your freaking 970Z Magnus?
Rename that shit."
Yeah.
And also, would you like to sponsor our show?
Yeah.
Also, we need money.
Our show.
So I don't know, something to keep your eye on if you're interested in a very small form factor portable gaming solution.
And that's the first
something that size, GTX 960 isn't bad.
Right.
Moving on to the Acer Predator Z35.
The next heavy hardware in the hot and hardware.
Haven't confirmed how hot this gets, but it definitely looks heavy.
Predator Z35. All right.
Yeah,
So this was like Predator's Acer series of like the answer to the ROG series of monitors, right?
Kind of. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. And we're going to take a look at a new Asus ROG Swift monitor just after this that looks very similar.
That stand could cut you before it
I
even
hope they've
looked at
rolled
you.
the edges on that steel. Otherwise, that's not just going to be the paint that's red. So this has been seen at IFA 2015, which just happened. It's a 35-inch curved monitor, IPS, 2560 by 1080. Sorry, 2560 by 1080.
So curved widescreen.
I would have liked to see by 1200. That would have been cool to get a few extra pixels in there.
Looks like the triple curved widescreens this guy's looking at right here.
That looks
with his
orgasmic.
Look at Mr. Fancy Pants here with his glass of wine.
What is that? Pinot?
And his 3 curved
Pinot Grigio
34-inch monitors.
I think this was taken at IFA.
I guess they must have been serving wine at this event.
Yes. You're gonna need a drink for this one,
Usually
folks.
the good events do serve wine or something like that.
That's fancy.
All right, I'm gonna come straight out here and say that this stylish design here, this gamer, edgy red and black thing, is doing nothing for me in this particular instance.
I don't mind it.
It looks like they're really trying to make it look like a transformer, and I just feel like it's overdone.
But see, I'm not gonna see that.
I
ever.
know.
I will never see that.
You'll see the stand. You'll see the base
not
of the
the
stand
back of
here.
it, though.
You're right.
Because from where you're sitting, it's just going to look like a regular.
See the front of the stand there.
Flat.
It still seems.
From that angle, I don't mind it. The only thing I would say is, for like, if you're going to be spending whatever it is, $1,500, it's $1,200 USD.
That's how much this monitor costs?
Yes.
Sweet.
If you're going to be spending that much on a monitor, I would think you're also maybe one of those people who likes to have everything perfect. Like your whole desk setup, you want like a very uniform theme, especially when it comes to color scheme. And I don't like the fact that they've put red on the visible part of the stand.
Yes.
Just in case, what happens if you want a blue and white color scheme for your desk?
In.
I'm talking about like the 1% of enthusiasts who actually do that. They color scheme out. Like anyone on Matt Philly's Pimp My Setup.
Yeah.
That show that he blatantly ripped us off on.
Wait, so I'll say this is a G-Sync monitor.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is G-Sync. It's 144 hertz with overclocking potential, which is what makes this monitor kind of unique. You could overclock it theoretically up to 200 hertz, but there's still no word out on whether or not that's going to equate to diminished response times or things like degraded image quality.
That's pretty high.
Yeah,
Usually like
I don't think you'll need that.
144 is about what you see the most at.
Right.
I mean, there's always that whole thing like, oh, people can't see past 60 frames per second or whatever, which I don't think is true.
Right.
But I will say 200 seems pretty high.
I don't think we're at the point yet where we can tell the difference between 144 hertz and 200.
There are still people who will go for it, though.
I think it's more of a marketing thing, personally. But whatever. If you want to do it, do it.
All right.
So yeah. Moving on to the next one, it's the
Predator
Asus,
Z35.
the Asus ROG Swift, the PG348Q, which looks a bit more promising in my opinion. It is also G-Sync. It does cap out at 100 hertz, so there is no overclocking potential here though. But it does have a 34-inch curved IPS monitor as well at 3440 by 1440. So you're getting a lot more screen real estate and a lot more pixels, higher resolution than that the Predator we just looked at. It is still retains its 21:9 aspect ratio. It features a frameless curved design. Asus has said that before. A frameless design.
This does not look frameless.
No,
to
it does
me,
not.
This
It does not.
picture that it's showing here.
Right. There's still a little bit of black, even though it's not the physical plastic part of the monitor. It is still on-screen bezel, which is a bit misleading, but it is still thick. It looks like it's probably 6 to 8 millimeters, which isn't too bad, especially if you're doing triple.
What do you think of this?
Monitors
What do you think of this
display.
stand? I mean, I know you don't care because you're not looking at it, but
This stand,
it looks like a thermal reactor.
it looks better than the Predator.
It looks a little bit better than the Predator. I will say, still just a little overdone for me.
What really concerns me is that the fact that they've sacrificed the footprint for the industrial design, because having those 3 prongs, like that triangular stand, it's going to take up a lot more desk space than say a regular basic rectangular base.
Yeah.
And that is what I don't like. When I'm okay with whatever form you want to go with, whatever, it's your preference, it's cosmetic. But when it starts tapping into functionality and like now I need a bigger desk to accommodate this thing, that's when I have a problem. So
It's also it looks like it's twisted up, and like it should untwist, like the monitor should untwist and
well,
drop
I'm sure
down.
there is some swivel functionality there as well.
I'm
with the
sure it
stand.
is, but it looks like it's torqued right there. I don't know. Okay.
And I doubt that's going to untangle it.
All right, is that all for this one, or
It's pretty beastly. What else did I want to say?
more specs?
It's got 4 different crosshair options. I don't know. What do you think about the crosshair options on monitors?
I think in certain situations they might be useful, but I think practically speaking, they're cheating.
Yes, exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
I would have to say, like, unfair advantage.
Yeah, I mean, games that design themselves without a reticule in the middle of the screen or something evident there, or that make it small, usually they do that for a reason. Some games are annoying with it, that's for sure.
I'm okay with it for single player campaign.
Yeah.
Like if a kid's playing, you're like, oh, I can turn it on for little Jimmy here. He sucks.
But playing with it competitively is not.
Or even online, I just feel like it's dishonest.
Not on the up and up.
When I was younger, when Counter-Strike 1.3 was around, my buddy and I would play, and he would always like to op, like the sniper rifle.
Okay.
And he would always do no scopes, but he would like take the corner of a Post-it note, the sticky part, and cut it just a little tiny triangle and stick it right in the middle of where his cursor was, and he'd get no scopes like left and right.
Jeez.
But I'd always face palm.
Because you knew he was cheating.
We don't talk anymore.
See?
Actually, I take that back. He was at my wedding. He's cool.
No, I was about to say, screw that guy.
He's come a long way.
Never mind, I might have met him.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the ROG Swift PG348Q. Let's move on to Razer.
Yay, Razer.
Razer's got some stuff.
We got a few Razer.
They got some stuff. So I don't know if you remember this mouse, Paul. I certainly don't, because I don't even think I was into computers at this time. But in 2004, they released their Diamondback gaming mouse.
I do remember the Diamondback.
Which was a very simple mouse known for its ambidexterity. You could use it for right-handed and left-handed users. Were very fond of it, while still maintaining very comfortable grip as well. But they're bringing it back with some moderate revisions, including RGB LEDs all around the midsection, as you can see there, as well as the scroll wheel and the Razer logo, right where your palm goes. And they're also going to be including a 16,000 DPI 5G laser sensor, which should be hopefully pretty precise.
16,000?
Not sure who needs that, but you know.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's going crazy. See,
I know.
I just,
just a
earlier
marketing
today
thing.
posted my video on the Rocket Nith here, which has a 12,000 DPI sensor.
Oh,
and I
that's-
was like, that's freaking insane.
12,000?
Yeah, 12,000.
That's just a nith.
And it does one DPI increments, so you can dial in
Wow.
to that precision DPI point
Again,
that you wanted.
very markety.
Yeah, crazy.
Very few people will actually be into that. But hey, Diamondback is back. Oh, I should work for Razer. Diamond is back, right?
Yeah, they should
Come
use
on.
that.
They
should
need
totally
me.
Use it.
They need me.
I actually had the Razer. I bought the Razer mouse that's based on this design, but it's a different name because they added more buttons to it.
It's a different snake.
Yeah, it's a different snake.
Hmm.
And I can't remember the Razer
Cobra.
water moccasin. They
Flathead.
haven't made a water moccasin. They should.
Water moccasin.
Yeah, that'd be good. No, those are very
Shaped like a moccasin.
They're very deadly.
Extra comfort.
Okay, so that's kind of fun.
Yep.
Fun if you like old mice from
$90 MSRP. Pre-order now. Available in October.
$90?
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
So that was my only thing where, well, I mean, it's Razer, right? They tend to overprice a lot of their hardware.
It's expensive.
And people who really like Razer don't mind the extra premium. It's like Apple fans. Razer's like the black sheep,
There is a cult.
like the Apple.
There's a
There's a
cult of
Razer
Razer.
cult. So whatever. But let's talk about a different Razer mouse.
Okay.
Because this one wasn't enough. I want more.
More Razer mice.
Insatiable wants and needs. This is their new Orochi. And this is a 2.0 version of the original Orochi. I don't know if Razer's running out of ideas. They're bringing back an old mouse from 2004. And now they're doing a 2.0 version of this one. I would like to see some new mice, but still,
It's
this
got
is
Windows
kind
10 support
of Windows 10 support.
for all those mice that
Hey.
don't work in Windows 10.
I think my old ball mouse from 2001 or 1998
Should
still works with
work
Windows
in
10.
Windows 10.
Yeah.
because they haven't really done a lot of updating to the standard mouse.
Exactly.
in
So this
the
one sports a more modest 8200 DPI,
That's sensible.
4G laser sensor.
Okay.
But the cool thing about this mouse that stood out to me, other than the RGB lighting, which kind of goes works with their what's Razer's thing called? Chroma.
Chroma.
The Chroma lighting ecosystem.
Yes.
Apart from being able to link with that, it's got a ridiculous battery life of 60 hours continuous.
Oh. well, that's
So you
a-
could literally play this for like 2 months, or however long you game, I don't know. But 60 hours is pretty generous, and that's very much in part due to the inclusion of Bluetooth 4.0. It just makes it more efficient, I guess. Bluetooth 2.0 was more like 20 hours or something. You can use it wired or wireless. It does come included with a 3-foot braided cable. It uses 2 AA batteries, no rechargeable lithium ion here, and will release in October.
Cool.
Octubre,
All right.
as the cartel says it.
So when's your check arrive from Minling Tang? I totally mispronounced his name.
How the hell did you know about that?
Just kidding.
All right.
All right.
And that wraps it up for
That's
hot and
all-
heavy hardware.
That's all for hot and heavy hardware.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next.
Next is
Oh, it's time for Face Off.
Face Off,
Wait, I have a
where
thing.
Paul and I go head to head in a
Wait, I
crappy
have a thing.
2-player online game,
There's
and the loser has to
thing.
do something ridiculous.
Like 2 sumo wrestlers facing off in an epic battle. So Kyle and I will toss our weight around the ring of passion.
Ring of Passion.
I don't know.
That's a
couldn't-
new one.
Trying to finish out that sentence. Kind of trailed off.
Nothing screams passion
It's
like
cool.
2 fat
All right.
dudes.
So what game that you've practiced extensively before we started?
Well, I actually have not practiced this game extensively, Paul. You should know that, and you should also, I mean, especially the fact that I've lost like the last 10 face-offs.
You're
to you.
right.
I've lost every face-off of like the last 2 months.
And every face-off, I've accused you of cheating by practicing beforehand. So
so maybe
I'm
it's
gonna keep
you.
That, I'm going to keep that up.
No, it's you that's cheating.
Well, you must
who
think
are-
so because you've put 4 different games on the show doc.
It's because
so
I took some recommendations
that's
from the
to-
audience.
That's to confuse me.
No, that's just for next week. I can
Oh,
use some of
see.
those for next
I
week.
see. So what are we actually playing?
We're actually playing Crazy Ball.
Crazy Ball?
Yeah. One of you guys suggested a pretty good game, but we didn't have the plug-in for it. Couldn't download it in time, so we might use that for next week. Crazy Ball. Yeah, this is like the hottest game, the hottest Flash game to hit the internet in years. It features 2 protagonists
It's like Angry
Who
Birds
are-
meets Bejeweled.
fighting to put a ball into a hoop.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's unprecedented.
Okay, Crazy Ball.
So you're going to use the arrow keys. I'm going to use WASD. WASD.
Okay.
And we're gonna have to we're just gonna score on each other.
Let me make this the appropriate size.
This is
here.
the pit of passion you were talking about.
Close to home.
The ring of passion.
The ring of passion.
And yeah, the loser's gonna do something stupid.
All right, and I'm
Look
using
forward
the
to
arrow
it.
keys here.
All right, everyone in chat, put in chat who your money's on.
Should we look at? Yeah,
It's gonna be me
we're
or Paul.
taking. Everyone place your bets. Cash only.
Cash only.
Proceeds go.
We'll take card 2.
Proceeds go to
us.
To Rooster. Rooster gets
Proceeds go to Rooster.
Rooster gets all the profits. All right.
All right, so 2-player.
Yes.
We'll do first to 3.
Choose player 2.
So just click anyone.
Am I player 2 or?
Yeah, you choose what color you like.
I'll go for blue.
You're blue. So I'm orange.
Oh, all right.
You have a weird mouth.
I do have a weird mouth.
How do you even?
It's like I've been chewing gum, but the gum is also my body.
We are gum.
All right.
Okay. So I think.
Oh wait, you're blue.
Oh wait, I'm blue. Okay. So you have to hit it. It's like basketball.
Oh, and you have to get it in the other.
I mean, this
basket
game has a
thing.
wicked learning curve. I mean, it took me 2 hours to actually
Cheat
master
your way
it.
to the top.
No, I mean I didn't do that at all.
All right.
So it's getting kind of stuck there.
This is fascinating.
I know.
This reminds me of another game we've played on the show.
Riveting. Yeah, we're running out of ideas.
That game sucked too.
Oh no, I like it when you hit the ball, you actually blow on it.
What are we playing to? Oh, you're right. I
We're
did.
gonna play to 1.
This is good.
At first I was gonna say 3, but
We are not doing very well.
clearly
Oh.
we have not. This is a game beyond our skill level
Can you double jump?
in the world of gaming.
Is it
You
like,
can't
is
double
it like-
jump.
Is it like Rocket League? I'm gonna
not
try to
like
score in my own.
the
Why are the
boosties.
baskets so high up?
No, you know what's funny is when I was playing this game by myself and I was controlling both characters, I scored like 2 goals in a row.
Really?
Yeah, and it's only now playing with you when I'm fully focused on one.
Oh,
Character that-
you've always been good at.
Oh wait, I'm scoring it in my own basket.
Always
I don't
been
even
good
know.
at scoring. When
I'm
you
just trying to
play
get
with
it in
yourself,
either
Kat.
basket right now. What?
I'm trying to make jokes. You're talking over me.
Sorry.
I had a really good joke about you scoring while you play with yourself, but it's gone now.
I'm glad I talked over you on that one.
All right. This is terrible. This is what
It's okay.
we might be looking at the first ever draw in.
Oh!
Oh, I might.
Oh! Nope. See, it's
Face-off
possible.
history. This is.
Dude, how does
I
anyone...
feel, we must be losing viewers massively right now. Oh, come on, get in there! Get in the fucking.
No!
God damn it!
Go away!
Ah,
So,
this is. Okay.
looks like your guys
Oh
have a
no,
breath.
I just scored.
You-
I scored
you
on
scored on
myself.
All right. You lose.
I lose.
You
That's
lose.
it. Game over.
Let's it's game over. Would you want to play to 3? We could be here all night.
I don't know.
Luckily, a lot of people someone put 450 on me.
Oh wow, nice.
450.
$450.
Guess how much someone put on you?
Money.
$3.50.
$3.50.
$3.50.
Well, that's because they knew how much you had cheated
That's not
at the
true.
beginning of the show.
$0.1 on Paul. All right, so
We'll play to 3 then.
a lot of you guys know we're not gonna play to 3.
just
Don't
score
score on yourself again.
You
Just admit defeat.
immediately.
You know you can't do it. All right, so what's your punishment, Paul?
Oh, come on. Come on.
Save your strength.
All right, fine. So what's your punishment for your? This game sucks.
The punishment is that you have to sing. It's a singing punishment.
Oh, it's a singing-
I love
it's one of
singing
those.
punishments. You have to sing the
What happened to the deck of death or the
Chalice of Malice
of
is at my house.
Oh, it's at your house.
Yeah. That's okay. That means
Okay.
there's one more in there that we don't have to use today.
All right, what am I singing?
You have to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I picked a song that everyone knows the words to,
That is.
so they'll be able to critique you
Pretty basic.
for every misstep you take. But there's a twist. You'll have to sing it in your best pirate voice.
Pirate voice.
Yeah, and you should be good at this because we did a pirate episode of
I don't
Yoked
know
when we
why.
were
I don't know
for
why I
Newegg.
thought you were gonna go with like Frank Sinatra.
I was
That was
originally, but that was the
another
Pokemon
option.
theme song. But you didn't know the Pokemon theme song, so I had to switch it to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
So all right, I feel like I could
Yeah.
do the pirate voice, but not the melody.
Of Twinkle Twinkle?
What? I have to close one eye. Wait, I need a patch.
Do you have a patch?
No.
I didn't even prepare a patch.
All I have is the thing from
What if,
the alcohol.
can you fit this cork underneath your glass?
Here we go. No, that's not.
Maybe you
gonna
do it sideways. Yeah, there you go.
Yar.
Oh, there you're getting into character now.
Well, that's the costume is really what helps you get into character.
It does.
When you have a good like costume designer, really, and that's really the
We pride ourselves
behind
on
the
it.
scenes folks on the show here. I just want to give a shout out to them for.
Yeah, they're fired.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. How's it go after that?
Twinkle, twinkle.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Arr! Very well done, Paul. Cheers. Cheers. That was beautiful.
All right.
That was beautiful. Everyone, round of applause in chat for Paul. It's a tall order
Losing my
to
voice
take
now.
on. Well done.
I couldn't remember the melody.
And
of
I realize that this is a perfect song to sing as a pirate because there's so many R's in it.
You're right. That's brilliant. This is great of you to work that in there.
It's probably created. The song was made by a pirate.
And pirates would navigate by using stars.
That's also very
across
true.
The ocean, as
Wow.
in the Caribbean and
Constellations.
other places where the pirates used
So much truth in this show.
and pirates hate ninjas.
So much truth. So let's move on to our next
Okay.
segment after that beautiful round of face-off. Thank you all for tuning in for that.
No, you know what's next? I knew what you were about to say, but you know what's really next. Remember, Kyle. Remember.
It's sponsor
It's
spot.
sponsor spot time.
Hey.
You didn't put it in your side of the show.
I know because I suck.
Yay! All right.
Let's do sponsor spot.
Our show remains being brought to you by Gigabyte.
Gigabyte.
So we want to say a
Gigabyte.
big thank you to Gigabyte for supporting the show.
In the house.
They approached us and said, "Hey, we like your show." And we're like, "We drink and there's debauchery and stuff." And like, we still like your show. We're like, "Cool."
Yeah.
That's
Gigabyte is like
kinda
one of
how
the
that went.
coolest companies that I've
Yeah.
ever worked with.
So they were pretty cool with that. And what we've been trying to do to make things slightly more interesting, yeah, Kyle, you go ahead and do that.
I'm gonna take this off really quick. I'll be right back.
To make things slightly more interesting for you guys is showcase during the sponsor spot briefly some actual hardware. Now we don't have new hardware, but we do have some hardware in use that we're going to show you. I'm going to be getting the favorite webcam here. Oh God! Can you get the webcam here? And Kyle has this build that I put together just a couple weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago now. This is my this is my X99 entry level build. So I built this X99 system with the idea being that it would be like not terribly expensive. You can get pretty much the whole system for about $1,500-ish, and the video's on my channel. So let me pop this up real quick, and we'll show you some of the internals here.
1500. That's pretty good for X99.
Yeah, about 1,500. Let me just see if I can make it.
Although
brighter.
that is fairly expensive considering there's no graphics card.
There's no graphics card. I took the graphics cards out because it's not a Gigabyte one. And I wanted to give a much better view of the motherboard.
That
Can you
video
bring
card
it?
sucked.
Can you bring it closer, Kyle?
Yeah, sure.
I can't zoom in with this little guy here. All right, so this is the X99 SLI motherboard from Gigabyte. It has sort of some gold trim on it. The case is a Fantex N2 Pro.
Look at my finger.
Look at Kyle's finger right there. He's pointing at the chipset. I use a black Enermax heatsink fan.
Is that their ETS 40?
Yeah, that's the ETS 40, the black version, which seems to be hard to find these days for some reason.
I like
you
this
can't get it
this
anymore.
cooler because it's all black.
Yeah, it's all
the
black.
heatsink.
It blends in really well. I wasn't 100% sure how the color scheme was going to end up looking on this build, but it actually turned out looking not too terribly bad.
That's great.
But yeah, if you're looking for an X99 board and you're not trying to spend like $350 or $400 or something like that, this board does a lot of, like, pretty much all the things you really want it to do without any of the crazy high-level stuff. And you can do 4-way SLI with it as well. It's set up for that. Although I know there's not a huge call for 4-way SLI, you can also use those slots for other things. You've got a decent number of M.2 ports in there too, and lots of connectivity, SATA Express, good things.
Get their amp up audio sound chip. Looks like
Amp
you've
up
got
audio
some
sound.
trace LED
It
layout
does
right
have
here.
a bit of trace LED. I was going to turn it off with this particular build because it was standing out a little bit too much, and I had some red going on in there too.
It probably wouldn't so much if you had a video card in there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it still would, but at least it's yellow. It matches the heatsink fairly well, I think, right?
Yes, it does.
That's good.
It is yellow. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, that's it. A quick look at that system, and again, guys, if you are interested, that video's on my channel. It's called Entry Level X99 Build.
Do it.
I put it together.
Do it.
It's fun.
All right.
Speaking of, suddenly I think I inhaled something. Yes. I don't know what it is. All right, what the hell's next, Kyle?
Next up, we've got Pimp My PC.
Why am I talking into your microphone?
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, I know.
Double
what I
the
can
Paul. Nothing could be worse. And that concludes Sponsor Spot. Next up, we've got Pimp My PC, where you guys send in pictures of your rigs, and Paul and I do you the solid of pimping them out for you.
Yes.
Just giving you all kinds of lovely suggestions and advice on how to really make your PC shine.
We give you vapid cosmetic instruction on how to make your system look prettier and be no more powerful or effective at playing games or anything.
Like, hey dog, I heard you like snow cones, so we put a snow cone machine in your car.
Some of these have 2 pictures, Kyle. This is crazy.
I know.
All right. First off, on Pimp My PC.
I don't know how to pronounce this name.
Jacques Coetzee.
Jacques.
Or Jacques Coetzee.
Jacques
say there's a
Coetzee.
Jacques.
I like your name. And I like your system too.
760T case right there.
Many things
That's
I like
the white
here.
version from Corsair.
Yes, it is.
Also, this has quite a few Corsair components. An AX60 power supply.
Yep.
A Corsair, what looks to be an H100i, I think.
Yep.
For the
GTX
cooler,
H100i
H100i GTX.
Indeed.
They went and added like the different GTX models there, and now I can't keep them all.
I know.
In order. A couple Samsung SSDs, an MSI graphics card of some kind.
Yep.
And some white cable extensions.
Yep.
Which
with cable combs, which is
with
a good
some
touch.
cable combs, yeah. All right, so we got your typical need for pulling a little bit of that cableage back behind the motherboard tray.
Yeah.
Especially down at the bottom. I think that'd be useful. Nice work on the cable combs. I mean, they look so nice coming off of the motherboard and the graphics card, but then it just seems to get a little sloppy.
Yeah.
Further down.
Especially because you've got that bottom-mounted fan there, which is kind of being obstructed a little bit by the array of cables that are kind of scattered and a little loose.
Yeah.
If you tidy that up, open up some more airflow for that bottom fan, get more fresh airflow to your video card, everyone wins.
I like the black and white with just a little bit of red accent.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
That's working. Actually, the rear exhaust fan, the gray actually stands out to me as not matching quite as much.
Yeah. It looks
minor issue.
I know this is just the picture, but it looks like it's been coated in like ash, or it looks like a cigarette smoker's fan.
I think it's maybe just the white balance of
lighting.
the camera or something like that, or the flash or something. But yeah, there's also a sound card in there. I just now realized.
I would go for a white fan.
Yeah, maybe
white
swap that out
blades.
for a white fan. A little cable management. Nice build though. Good system.
Thank you, Jacques.
Looks to be very powerful. Thank you, Jacques, for sending that in. Next, we have Ollie Ferguson.
Ollie.
All right, so this is an AMD APU build with an A10 7870K, X88 gamer motherboard from Asus, Corsair CX 750 watt power supply. Spec 03 is that's the case, right?
Yes.
I should know that.
I think so.
AMD R9 2400 megahertz RAM and a Kingston V300 120 gigabyte SSD.
Right.
So, all right, Kyle.
First off, the first thing that caught my eye is how dusty your power supply is, which indicates that the rest of your rig is probably dusty as well and hasn't been cleaned in a minute.
In a minute?
In a long minute. In a very long minute. So I would suggest cleaning everything out first. Get a nice can of compressed air, and for all the little bits that doesn't clean out, get like a microfiber cloth or something like that. Give it a good wipe down, the whole system.
Oh, that's a Corsair case. The
it
Spec
is.
03.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's one of their more budget cases.
About $70 on Newegg right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other thing that stands out to me, I like that you've kind of matched your motherboard along with the case fans with the red LEDs. It's got a nice red and black theme.
Did you already say to get the green off the power supply?
I was just about to.
Okay.
Go ahead and take those labels off of the power supply, because the green, reminds me of Christmas.
Yep.
We're not quite in December yet. But also maybe some sleeved extensions for your 24-pin ATX. All the other cables look pretty black, and they seem to blend in pretty well. This being a more so budget build, I guess, I wouldn't go the extra mile to get more extensions than your 24-pin. That's really the only one that needs changing at this point.
You might consider, because you don't have airflow or exhaust at the top of the case, Your CPU cooler is going vertical, and you have an exhaust at the back.
Yeah.
You might get slightly better performance by rotating at 90 degrees so that both of those fans are working together rather than working slightly at odds with each other. But it might be minor. It really depends on the system. You're also going with internal, with the APU graphics here, so I would say good call on getting that faster speed DDR3 memory.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing is just tidy up the cable management a little bit. I can see that one cable that's kind of drooping down from your power supply. Looks kind of out of place. Some of the cables from your fans, from your front fans, they're kind of routing behind the drive cage, I should say. You could just tuck those behind the drive cage so they're not so noticeable against the blank slate of your right side panel. I think that would look a little bit cleaner.
But yeah, before you spend any money on aesthetics here, spend at least $150 on a graphics card.
Yeah.
Preferably 200 plus, and you'll get a nice big jump up in graphics performance. Yeah. Although your APU is probably doing just fine for you for now, especially if you're at 1080 or less and you're not running too high settings.
Yeah.
But thanks for sending that in, Jacques.
Thanks, Ollie.
Next week. Oh wait, no, that was Ollie.
Sorry, not Jacques.
I still had Jacques up there. My bad. Next up is Gabe.
Gab.
Nub Tubs.
Gaben.
So this is his first build. It's a year old. A8 6600K, another AMD system. R7 250X graphics card, 8 gigs of RAM, and a shoddy Gigabyte case. Shoddy.
Shoddy. That'd be a great name for a case.
All right. The GZ-PD. Gigabyte is one of those companies you're like, they make cases? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They're usually like server cases or like integrated systems or like bare, really like budget all-in-ones or that kind of thing.
Kind of like Zalman.
Okay, so I will say, well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I can't. Bleh. You got a 250X, right? You got a 250X graphics card, which is pretty budget, and an A8 6600K, which is an APU with a decent integrated graphics on it. It's a moot point now because you've already got it, but I would have said don't even bother with that graphics card.
Save up for a better one.
And save up, yeah, for something that's in the $200+ price range. You could still get a nice boost by doing that, but for now, the 250X probably is a bit better than the 6600K, unless that's a dual graphics card. In which case, dual graphics. The AMD APUs can have a thing called dual graphics that they did.
Right.
Which means you can take the APU and you can take one of the low-end AMD graphics cards and you can kind of like pair them up.
Yeah.
Sort of like cross-firing your integrated graphics with the graphics card.
Right.
But they just, like the GPUs that they lined up were really fixed. You didn't have much flexibility with them.
Right.
And they were all really low-end. So by the time the APUs came out that were with them, like the next generation was available, or they just,
it started with a V.
What?
That technology, I thought, didn't it?
V.
So like, it was AMD technology that allowed you to pair both of them together to get.
You just unplugged that. I was like, where did this come from?
Unplugged? Oh yeah. Sorry.
That's crazy,
not important, but yes, that's definitely a good point.
Getting distracted.
I completely agree.
Oh yes. Thank you.
Yes.
What were we talking about?
Nothing.
All right. So what should he do?
This is a good system.
What should he do?
This
is one of those systems I feel bad giving like aesthetic critique to because
it's a budget build.
Because it's a budget build.
Right.
He's done a great job. I mean, honestly, that
great.
cable management in there for that case was 0 behind the motherboard space.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Probably the best you could do in a case like that.
So here, I would say, don't worry about what your system looks like at all. Just concentrate on maybe getting yourself in a better situation from the power standpoint. Your graphics card, swapping that out with a higher end graphics card, again, like $200 plus.
Right.
Price range, whether you're going AMD or NVIDIA, I don't care. Do that first, and then beyond that, to go further than that, you'd be looking at like a full system overhaul.
Just custom water cool all those parts.
But first water cool everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a block on that 250X.
Paint the interior of the case black.
Do they make blocks for 250Xs? Okay.
Thank you, Gabe. Appreciate it, brother. Next we got
more,
Simon. Or Simone, depending on where you live. Quick build he did for a friend. Quick build he did for a friend recently.
Not his build.
Nope. But hey, this looks pretty nice. A few things stand out to me. First thing that I'll point out is I like I like the color scheme. I think the white components that you've chosen for the inside of the case, like the motherboard and the RAM, is very thoughtful because you were kind of keeping the case in mind.
Yes.
To kind of match with that. Very matchy-matchy. I like it. Even the blue fans on the CPU cooler, I think, complement the white very nicely. It gives it kind of a cool color temperature type feel, and I feel like, yeah, this is a really airy, cool case. Like, it feels cool in there. But
feels cool.
Feels cool.
It's like the cool side of the pillow.
Exactly. Other things that I noticed on the downside were the cables. First off, some of the cable management. This is, I'm not sure, I don't know if this is an Enermax case or what it is, but there's probably room behind the motherboard tray where you wouldn't have to route that 8-pin CPU connector.
I recognize this case layout in the smaller drive cage right here. I want to say it's a Cooler Master.
Might be Cooler Master. It's an older Cooler Master. Very
no,
possible.
Those drive cages are very distinct, but I really...
Yes. But here's what I think. Cable management could be much improved with the CPU connector not being in front of the motherboard, but rather behind the motherboard tray.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
Definitely don't need to do that. And it looks like you have enough length on that cable to reach all the way around. Do the old reach around, you'll be good.
Got plenty of length for a reach around. That's Kyle's.
Plenty of length. That's my motto.
Kyle's motto. Plenty of length for a reach around.
I'm gonna update my my channel banner on YouTube.
What?
Just instead of tech with a dash of awesome, it's just gonna be
plenty of length.
For a reach around. People will know.
Classic.
They get me.
Okay.
Remove the sticker on your power supply if you're so inclined, especially if the side panel window reveals part of that. Doesn't really match too much. Kind of clashes with the rest of your color scheme that you got going on. Sleeved cables. Sleeve cables, some black sleeve cables, especially. I hate the power supply cables that are like sleeved, but they show the ketchup and mustard cables through it, so you kind of just get this washed out yellow and red.
Here's like the. All right, so the power supply, I think here is the main thing that you get if you swap that power supply and the SATA cables. I think if you swap that out, you really improve the look of the system. But here's like one of those situations where it's like that's an EVGA 500B. It's a 500 watt power supply. It's 80 plus bronze. It's a solid unit. Like those have gotten EVGA's like done a really good job with their bronze units because they're well built. They do a good job and they get the job done here. But here's an example of like taking that unit, which costs probably $45, $50, versus something else that's going to cost you $70, $80, $90, which might have a little bit more wattage and maybe like some better cables or something like that.
Flat black cables or something.
Yeah, but that's like, is it? But that's another thing where like that's not going to improve your performance one iota.
Right.
So that's a decision there.
What I would invest in before the cables, just going off of performance here, is maybe get a beefier graphics card. I don't know exactly which one that is in there, but the fact that it's like a 6-incher.
50 or 750 Ti maybe.
Yeah, maybe a 750 Ti or even a 650 Ti boost or something like that. It looks pretty tiny, unless it's like a 670, but I don't think it is. I would get something that fills up the space in your case a bit more, just to make it look a bit more aggressive and complete. I feel like it looks like more of like a sound card size type unit in a space that should be showing off like your most prized possession in your system, which is your graphics card. But yeah, I would probably save up for one of those. Also move the SSD, if you can, to one of those drive trays on the bottom cage. Maybe get a 3.5 inch to 2.5 inch adapter. And if you can, it doesn't look like you can remove that drive cage actually.
You should.
But if you can.
I think the middle one you might be able to remove that panel.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And pull those cages out.
Right.
That'd be a good idea though. And you probably can mount that SSD to the 2.5s in the middle.
That's true. So thank you, Simon. Very good build.
Simon.
I like it. I'm sure your friend will be very happy with the system you built them.
I think so too.
And moving on to weird names today. Icariot.
iChariot.
iChariot. I was like, Icariot.
It's like iRobot, but it's a robotic chariot.
iChariot. He sent in his custom. No,
it's
not
called
a custom
Mother
one.
Base.
Mother Base.
970s an SLI 5820K at 4.4 gigahertz and an MSI X Power X99.
Has a very Bumblebee look.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Skunkworks. Right off the bat, especially because of that Case Labs case that it's got there.
Oh, that is a big old Case Labs case.
Super Case Labs, which make great cases, by the way. I think you've done a good job of filling it with hardware, especially because you've got 2 of those 970s in SLI.
Yeah.
I think a case like this, I think it's just too big to have one graphics card. It's one of those cases that you're just like, I need at least 2 graphics cards in there, otherwise
I mean, there's not much
it just
point.
looks empty.
These are so small. These images are so small.
But I love your sleeve cables. They look really clean. The black and yellow is definitely, you get points from me for that color scheme. I like it. It's not too common like red and blue and green. The backplates are cool too. I even like even the green accents on the NVIDIA backplates don't bother me too much.
I don't know why, but I'm having a hard time.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to make these pictures.
Why are you clicking so much?
I'm trying to make these pictures bigger, but I can't view the images. For some reason, it's stupid Twitter.
It's all your fault.
Twitter is coded improperly.
And Twitter. I hate Twitter.
All right.
But I love all my followers.
There we go.
So another thing that I noticed from a more exterior shot is that the lighting, the LEDs in your case seem a bit spread out, and it's very noticeable, just like the backlight bleed on an LCD monitor, where you can see different patches of light around the edges. I feel like that's the case in this system, where I feel a lot of hotness on the front
I'm at
and
400%
towards the bottom.
zoom. I still can't
Are you
see.
okay?
I'm having a difficult
Do you
time
need help?
working the internet.
Good lord.
There, 100%. That's what 100% looks like. Okay?
Still failing.
Click on the thing. It's still small.
And you can't enlarge it at all?
Now it works. Okay, so why? Look, you got backplates on here with the logo.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Those are custom backplates to some degree, or maybe they came from Hassan. Hassan's company, which I forget the name of right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes
I know
those
Hassan.
backplates. That would have been cool if the NVIDIA logo was yellow on those. It would
Yeah.
match with everything else.
That would be the only thing to make them cooler.
That would have been kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, like all the stuff Kyle said, good job. Cable training is beautiful.
Yep.
Looks
Very
very
well
nice.
done.
Yeah, and again, very, very skunkworksy, which is a high compliment.
And you've managed to make, it's an Enermax CPU cooler that you have in there. I haven't seen too many builds with an Enermax Licktech cooler in them, but that fits it very nicely.
Works pretty well.
I like
All
it.
right, thank you, iChariot.
iChariot.
All right, next up we have Orlando Montoya.
Orlando
Hello, my name is Orlando Montoya.
Montoya.
You killed my father, prepared to die. Orlando, I'm
That's-
sorry
that's
if you
not-
get that all the time.
That's not the
But
same.
your name is Orlando Montoya.
Is that really the name in Princess Bride?
His name is Inigo Montoya.
Inigo Montoya.
But it's the same cadence.
Cadence and
the
syllables.
same last name. Orlando Montoya, Inigo
Wow.
Montoya. Okay.
I wonder if his parents are big fans. of the show.
Ooh, what case is that?
That's Lian Li, one of the PC series.
Ah,
The
beautiful.
same one that I've got on my wall that I did for my console killer, but it's the full ATX version, so you can fit.
With the super long ribbon cable that
Yes.
that makes you
Makes people
that
wonder.
that lets you put your video card in just a very present. It's like, here's my video card. Like,
Yep.
you just set it.
The
down
part
at
of the video
bottom.
card that's always so artistic that rarely ever people see,
Yes, very true.
which is very nice to see, especially with this beautiful tempered glass side panel that Lian Li includes. I mean, these cases are just beautiful. And I actually
Oh, you put the
included a
specs.
second link in there, Paul, on the show doc,
Yes, indeed.
where you get a better shot of the system. There it is, without the side panel in the daytime.
Nice.
Very beautiful. Water 2.0, or is it 3.0 cooler? Yeah, it's a 3.0. You got a 360 rad up there. Pretty beefy looking cooler.
So interesting. What? Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, interesting. No. That's all I was going to say. I was just
The
rambling.
cable sleeving.
Yep.
The cable sleeving.
Yes.
The cable sleeving.
Right.
That's
Interesting. It
it's
looks like he added his
it's
own.
like some custom. Like that's not. I don't know what power supply it is though, right? We don't
It's
know.
a Corsair.
No, he did say. Corsair CX600.
Yeah.
So that's like custom sleeved, but it doesn't match.
Right.
The blue does not match.
It's almost
two
like
different
a
blues.
like a
With-
navy blue.
With the side panel on and the lighting going on, like
You can't tell the
you're
difference.
you're in a better. Yeah, like here.
Right.
This picture on the right, you can't tell the difference. You're good.
Sure.
And I guess okay, so you got those sort of brighter, but darker blue LEDs.
Right.
And that
But
works
the
a
thing
little
is,
bit
the
more.
24 pin is still ketchup and mustard.
24 pins still ketchup and mustard.
Yes, even though it is sleeved,
yeah.
you can see the individual wires peering out. So I would almost. What do you do in this situation? If you've already gone this far to sleeve those cables, which I'm sure it took him a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably just leave them if it was my case and I had like sleeved them myself and taken the time to do it. But if someone gave me this system as it is in this picture, I would probably find a new power supply, a cheapy one that could still run this system quite well, and make sure that they had like black flat cables.
Yeah, I think
Flat cables will serve you well
flat cables
in a
look
system
better
like
there.
this.
And a power supply swap wouldn't be terribly out of the question here as well.
CX isn't very expensive.
But this system is not like on the new side. I think he's had it for a little while.
Yeah.
So don't listen to us because your system is nice.
This looks like.
I like it.
What is this? Is this Z68? Did he say what CPU this is or chipset?
Yeah, he's got all the specs here, conveniently listed in their own thing. So it's an
Oh,
FX
okay. It's an AMD card,
8350,
or it's an AMD.
AMD, and a GTX 660 GPU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like such a slightly dated hardware, but a very new case, which is interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, even though the hardware is a little bit dated, since
still
it's got
good.
an SSD in there and everything, your performance is still probably just totally fine.
Oh yeah. Beautiful build, Orlando.
Thank you, Orlando.
I'm digging it. And that
That's-
pretty much concludes it for Pimp My PC,
Concludes
y'all.
my PC.
Let's talk about news.
All right,
Oh my goodness, we're already an hour into the show, aren't we?
almost an hour, Kyle.
All right,
Still
let's
have time.
just blaze
There's
through
still
these
time,
here.
Kyle.
This first story we could just skip over
But
because
no, we don't need to skip anything.
No, we can
You
skip
have
over
4
it.
stories.
Let's skip over it.
Let's mention it really quickly.
Okay. Ads are still playing on YouTube videos, even for people who have AdBlock enabled in Chrome. People are like, what? I have
This
AdBlock.
is good. This is fantastic news.
It's good news
Everyone
for us.
should watch all the ads.
Yes, I agree. That's how we
As,
get paid.
as YouTube content
That is
creators,
how we
here's someone-
are able
it's
to
like,
make a living.
We're consumer advocates so much of the time, except for it's like, hey, people are being forced to watch ads before they. Oh, good.
Oh, thank God.
we may
Let's keep it that way.
we might be able to feed ourselves this month.
So,
No, it's not.
unfortunately, Chrome has not made this intentional. It's more so due to a security
What's
update.
this person bitching about it? A 3-minute ad, really? I have ad block.
I feel like I could just use Firefox or something.
Oh, my content that I'm getting for free actually has to be paid for somehow.
3 minutes, what am I going to do with my life?
We should probably not respond to any of these people.
A 3-minute ad sucks.
Yeah, I
I'll
agree.
A 3-minute ad should be skippable.
So people are like, oh no, is Google trying to screw us over and trying to find a way around these filters? No, they're not. It's probably just a recent Chrome security update that happened.
Oh, okay.
And you have nothing to worry about. It should be fixed relatively soon with a patch or something like that.
Okay.
Until the issues are resolved, you could use something like Firefox,
Good to
or
know.
if you're on Mac, unfortunately, sorry for you could use Safari, or you could remove the YouTube app from Chrome. But Paul and I personally would recommend just watch the ads and preferably click on them, especially when it's on our videos.
Yes, all those things.
Next up, Bing. Speaking of
Bing.
movie browsers, I don't know why I said
Movie browsers.
internet browsers.
This is a
Bing.
Maximum PC article.
Bing. Bing.
Microsoft tasks Bing with recommending Edge over Firefox or Chrome.
So basically, Bing is telling you not to use Chrome or Firefox in a very
We'll
interesting
pop
way. Windows 10 has already gotten about 75 million installs since it released
It's a lot.
a month or two ago,
Been,
which is nuts. But unfortunately, its little browser Edge, Microsoft Edge, has not been doing quite as well as the operating system itself. So what Microsoft has done is they are now using Bing to promote the unlikely browser.
Well, with all of the people using Bing, they're. Sorry,
You can't find the words to say.
I lost my train of thought.
Chances
there.
are, if you can't find something, it's because you're using Bing.
So they're going to take all the Bing users and convert them into Edge users.
So if you happen to go on Bing, which I don't know who would, but let's say you're a less experienced user who doesn't know any better, and you go on Bing, first thing you might do, like I heard my techie friends Paul and Kyle saying that I should probably download Chrome instead because it's better and doesn't suck. He types in Chrome. Now if you type in Chrome or Firefox in Bing, it'll give you the search results, sure, like any search engine would. But at the very top, it'll have this really important looking message that says, with like a little exclamation point,
you should use Edge.
you should use Edge.
says
Microsoft recommends
Microsoft
Microsoft
recommends
Edge for Windows 10. That's what
That's
it says.
so hilarious. It's Microsoft recommends
Microsoft Edge.
this.
I know, it's
That's so self-negating in my eyes. It's like, our company recommends our company's products.
Exactly.
Really?
And then right next to it is a Learn Why button where it would just redirect you to the product page of Edge, and it touts all their brilliant features that no other browser
People
can
using
live up
Edge,
to.
It gives us better
So,
profits.
I mean, it's fine.
I don't think this is anything to worry about because it's Bing and no one uses Bing.
It's just Bing.
Okay.
Next up, this is a little bit more interesting for all y'all.
This
Full
is-
list. A full list has been revealed of Skylake desktop SKUs.
Yay.
Which is what a lot of us have been waiting for. Up until now, we've seen the launch of the i5 6600K as well as the i7 6700K, which have been great processors, by the way, which also have not really been sold wide or been made widely available in retail stores.
They're more available now, aren't they?
They are a bit more, but I think they're still they're marketed way. Like I looked for the 6700K on Amazon, $500.
Yeah. Plus, when you buy them, you gotta punch in that weird code to make it play the song and open up.
That's something different, Paul. But yes, I agree. So there's a lot of SKUs here, guys, and Intel has said in this article that they're planning on releasing even more SKUs than the one that we're looking at today.
All right, so we got 45 watt ones,
45 watt mobile,
28 watt ones,
28 watt ones. I'm just gonna skip all the crap.
Ones,
I'm gonna skip all the crap we don't want.
And
wait, hold on.
What's the difference between all those and the Core M's? What?
The Core M's.
There are too many processors.
Shit's for
and
the birds.
There's Xeons too. Oh god.
Let me just walk you through it.
And there's desktop 65 watt and desktop 35
Shut up.
watt.
Shut up.
There's so many charts.
Just shut your face.
SKUs.
That's why I've crafted this beautiful list of bullet points to help the viewers walk through this.
The viewers can't see the bullet points, Kyle.
Okay.
The viewers can only stare at this die shot.
This is why you need to shut up and let me
die
read it to
shots,
them.
Which causes hallucinations.
Drinking your beer.
Everyone stare at the die shot intensely. You'll start to see special images appear in 3 dimensions.
No, it's not one of those pictures of dinosaurs.
You say
and
the
shit.
things. I'm going to stare at the die
Okay,
shot.
you stare at the dinosaurs. Skylake H 45 watt mobile processors. Not really exciting, except there is an i7 6820HK. While Paul trips out on acid, that is unlocked for overclocking in a laptop. So you get an unlockable chip, or an overclockable chip that is unlocked. Are you feeling happy about yourself? Are you proud about yourself? You proud?
I blacked out for a second.
I hope you didn't kill anyone.
Good lord.
Anyway, the Skylake U processors.
A flamingo.
28 watt, obviously low power consumption, with hyper-threading support and Iris Pro 550 graphics. No one cares. Also have 15 watt chips for Ultrabooks. Sweet. Core M is for tablets and compute sticks and things like that, with twice the performance of leading premium tablets. Who knows? Mobile Xeon chips. There's Xeon chips for laptops now. 2 Xeon SKUs. Paul has been like hypnotized by the picture, and he is no longer useful to us on this show, other than for your sheer enjoyment and mindless entertainment. So yeah, Xeon SKUs in laptops with ECC support.
I liked it better before when there was a 6600K and a 6700K.
And that was it.
And they're like, oh, I know all of the CPU SKUs.
They had to complicate things.
Skylake. And now they have to drop this garbage on us.
Intel don't give a shit.
Too many.
Intel don't give a shit. And then finally, the desktop, the desktop SKUs, Skylake S at 65 watts. There are 4 different SKUs for this. There's the i7 6700K, which obviously is just the locked version of the 6700. I'm sorry, the i7 6700. The i7 6700 non-K SKU.
Oh, okay.
Still hyper-threaded, not unlocked, can't overclock it. And then you've got the i5 6600K and the i5 6500K. Or I'm sorry, I keep saying K. 6600, 6500, 6400. It's because for the last month or two, or the last month, I've just been focused on the K SKUs. I think all Intel chips are unlocked. But that's not the case. So you get 66, 65, 64. Skylake S 47 watt, so lower power consumption. Might be good for HPCs or something like that. There are 3 SKUs there, which are all Core i3s. They are all dual core, however. Probably don't want to do too much gaming on it. As well as Skylake T is the unofficial name. At 35 watts, you get 6700T.
This is even more confusing now,
6600T.
too. Look,
there's a lot of shit.
The Core i3s down here, like, Intel for quite some time, and I'm pretty sure this isn't universal, they've saved hyper-threading for the high-end SKUs, right?
But not anymore.
Now, not anymore. We have dual-core hyper-threaded i3s.
I don't know why.
With 2 cores and 4 threads.
Where does that make sense?
I mean, it does make sense. It's just, I mean, if you have any hope of trying to be able to grasp this whole product stack,
I don't know where it makes sense.
I certainly don't. All right. I care nothing about any of those. All I care about is the unlocked K SKUs.
Yep, me too.
No, there's probably like 1 or 2 that are going to be good for gaming in there. Someone go test all of them and tell us which, because there has to be like, if you want to build a more budget Intel-based system and you don't want to use a 6600K, which starts at $230 or whatever, you want like a reasonable option in like the $150 range. And usually they come up with something that's similar to that.
Right.
It sucks because it's not unlocked, not multiplier unlocked
But
at least.
there are so many people who need a Core i5 decent,
Yeah.
chip that aren't going to be interested in overclocking.
And oftentimes
Or don't even know, like, they don't know how,
Yeah.
they don't care to do it, they just want it to work.
Afromancer
So-
got a great screenshot of the stream, by the way. Okay, so
Mostly just you going,
and you look fairly tense as well. All
Very
right,
dramatic
one more
Last story,
news.
Amazon. They're going to release a 6-inch tablet for $50
Yay!
before Christmas.
$50.
So, hey, you got a little sister that keeps using your freaking tablet? Like, screw her. Buy her this. Right?
I was speaking metaphorically.
Don't, yeah.
Yeah,
of
this
course,
is
thank you,
it's
Paul.
available in different colors.
Yes, it is.
You
and
can
it's
get the
$50.
pink version for
Your sister that you want to...
sister or your niece, or your brother or your nephew, because we don't want to be imposing gender roles on anyone, do we?
No.
Okay.
It could be
We also
transgender.
have blue, white, this
Transgender
sort of
niece.
hideous lime green color,
Yep.
and black.
Yeah.
So the lime green color is there so that they can be sold off in another 6 to 9 months because they're overstocked and no one bought any of them.
Yep.
The other colors are there for people who actually have some reasonable
Taste?
level of fashion sense
Yes.
or taste. They're Android, right?
They're Android.
No, it's Amazon Fire.
No.
Oh.
Android. It's
Okay,
Android.
Android-
Amazon
Android
Fire
tablet.
is just the name of their tablet.
I don't
It's
know.
like
I
their
thought
line.
they,
It's
I thought they made their own.
It's an Amazon
operating
Fire
system or
tablet
something.
that runs Android. So,
Okay.
but what kind of sacrifices do you make for a $50 tablet? Well, it's only going to include mono sound, no stereo. Brr. May include ads.
Oh, ad. That just says that may include ads. Generic term.
That's what
At
the
any
article
point,
said.
At any point while using your tablet, you
just
might
be-
just get an ad instead of whatever the hell you're trying
You
to
might
look
be
at.
changing the brightness, and then all of a sudden, like, brr. Viagra is the number
to
one
change
used.
to change the
What?
brightness, simply watch this 10-second ad
Exactly.
for Viagra.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Rumor. I'm not confirming that at all. It's just
Yeah,
briefly
we're making
mentioned.
stuff up.
What would you do with a $50 tablet? Would you even buy one? I mean, at $50, it's pretty much an impulse buy. But what with a 6-inch, mind you, which is like not much bigger than your phone, what would you use a $50 tablet for?
I don't know. I have a tablet and I was using it as a monitor for my camera.
That's something like that I would.
But now I've changed my camera and I've stopped using it.
Right.
I use the wireless one on my phone. That's not a tablet.
Wireless.
I use wireless. I'm getting completely off subject.
Okay.
No, I mean for $50, like people are going to be willing to deal with certain level of like lack of performance or even a certain level of ads, depending on how like terrible they are.
Right.
I hope they're not too terrible, because I don't want to set a bad precedent that something
No.
like this could do well if it's really just flooded with ads.
I feel like this is probably, as long as there's no ads, this is probably good for something like your tech illiterate parents
Yeah.
or even grandparents who don't know any better and who are already waiting even longer lag times on their own desktops or tablets, who are just like, oh, this is great, and they have no idea that it was only $50, but they think that you're like the best son in the world because you just bought them a
bought
freaking
a
tablet.
tablet,
This probably was
yeah.
like $300. You're like, yeah,
That'd
you
be
know,
awesome.
I'm
No,
gonna
but
say.
they'll hear about it because you know
Yeah.
Amazon will be
Oh.
announcing this till the end of time.
And that is going to conclude this here show, or
Yay.
this half of the show, mind you, of
This half
Awesome
of the
Hardware.
show.
Thank you guys so
You're
much for
right.
staying tuned. Do we have any Johnsons to shout out? Before we end the
do.
show?
We need to double check that.
Irma Gerdners. We got some
We need to double
insurance.
check that. Thank you for remembering that, by the way, Kyle.
Absolutely. Marcel Johnson,
You're
brother.
remembering, you're learning
Johnson.
from last week. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to give a pre-Johnson to Thomas,
Thomas.
who didn't order during the show but was earlier
Tomas.
today. So Thomas or Tomas, thank
Very
you so
nice.
much. Michael, Marcel, who we got a double Johnson.
Double
for
Johnson.
Marcel,
Hey.
and Mac.
Mac.
We got an M theme going on. Michael, Marcel, and
And
Mac.
I got Michael.
And we got Michael.
Michael Mack and-
double Johnsons for Michael and Marcel.
What?
And Mac, thank you as well.
And I got one more from Philip.
We really-
Philip, holy Johnson
We
to you,
really
brother.
appreciate you guys
Holy Johnson.
supporting our ongoing endeavors.
Indeed.
And
Thank you all for
hope
buying a shirt.
Hope you enjoy the products.
Indeed.
They're fantastic.
Super comfy.
All right, stay tuned for my half of the show. It's on. If you're watching in the future, it's on my channel on Pulse Hardware.
Don't touch that mouse.
If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, and it's gonna be loads of fun.
That's right.
We're gonna drink some more beer.
If you're on YouTube, like the video. Damn it.
Oh yeah, like the video too.
Freaking
We
like
always like. We love like. Love. Like. This is. What?